Good evening and welcome to Pretty Petty Politics. I am here with the one and only Odus Evbagharu. He is, now I'm biased. He's my little brother.
That makes sense.
We have a very dear relationship.
Yes, we do.
And I was just
Yes,
sitting
we
here
do.
talking to him about, he started smiling. And I just told him, I love your smile, that joy that he has in his smile. It's it's like a reminder of faithfulness and
Yeah.
thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like I know that joy that you display comes from a very sacred place.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Pretty Petty Politics.
Thank you for having me.
It's like you've been here before, but you've never actually
You've
been
on the
here
show.
before. But I'm happy you're here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that you have me on.
Yeah. So he's running for Texas House,
Mhm.
District 135. I made a mistake earlier and did 138, which is Tyler Smith's
Mhm.
district, but I said 138 simply because I know you do so much work
Yeah.
in Congressional District 38.
That's right.
Right,
That's
out there in Cypress,
That's
and I
right.
just got it mixed up. I mean, we all make mistakes.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I just want to make sure that our brother Tyler wasn't upset. He's like, wait, hold up now. I'm just running for 135. We trying to get him elected as well too.
Exactly.
Bring some help to the
And shout out to
legislature.
Tyler.
Mhm.
He's a Texas Southern University alum.
He is.
And I remember when he was a student while I was a professor, and nothing about him being in this race surprises me because it was always on him, obviously on him, that he was meant for serving the community in an elected capacity.
No.
So, but this is about you tonight.
All right.
So let's get into it. Tell us, and I know you already know this question, tell us about your first time voting or a memorable story about voting.
Well, like let me do this because I've been talking a lot about her lately. And so this kind of goes back to my junior year of high school.
Okay.
And I've always kind of been civically engaged anyway, because I used to watch CNN, MSNBC with my dad when I was like 8, 9 years old, and would go to school talking about Bill Clinton and Yasser Arafat.
Listen,
and then the rest of the kids are like, who? Just like that.
Yeah.
Who is that? And I was like, okay. I still watch my cartoons and sports. But I will tell you, though, my junior year of high school at Lim Creek, go Lobos, I was in our history class. And this is when Barack Obama was going against John McCain. And if you know anything about Cyprus then, it's a little different now, but then, it's conservative, it's traditional Republican, that Bush, the Reagan-Bush era, the Bush, all that, it's deep in the heart of that. And so, of course, being in the what we call K-level classes, upper level classes, those AP type courses, sometimes, especially in the suburbs, call like it is, you normally like one of two black kids in the class.
Yeah.
And so being the only black dude in the class, I played Barack Obama. We were about to debate. And there was a woman who played John McCain. And before we had the debate, they took a survey. And the class was pretty much split. I think it was like 16-14 or 14-14, whatever it was. And then when we got done, I played Barack. She played John McCain. Of course, we took care of business, held our own in the debate, and we ended up winning. I think the score was like 25-3 or 24-4 going Barack's way. And I really studied, prep, like, what is Barack Obama about? And I'll never forget my history teacher, Ms. Gockel, may her soul rest in peace because she's no longer with us. She pulled me aside and she's like, you're going to do this one day.
Oh, wow.
You're going to be in this one day. And when you're a kid, like you playing football, basketball, you think you got it going on, you're on student government and all this other stuff. I don't know what you talking about. Like I just did my part and then kept it moving. And so all these years later, I'm reminded by Ms. Gockel, who really pulled me aside and gave me that confidence to say, hey, be civically engaged, be civically minded. And, we were able to do that. I couldn't vote at that time. I was a junior in high school. But after that, obviously, 2012, Barack Obama, then Hillary Clinton as well, too. And then the lineage just keeps going and going. And now I've been more of a more consistent voter because then you don't know anything about the midterms, the state legislature, all those things. You hear about it like casually because that's what you're learning. That's how you're learning it in school is casually. Then you really get into this. And when I was at the University of Houston, being the vice president of our college Democrats, that's when I really understood, okay, you have to do this consistently. School board, bonds. People don't talk enough about bonds and how much is going into your school district, right? We get a little wonky, but then you understand the midterms, how important that is, and the control of the House and the control of the Senate and all those things, and the governor here in Texas, lieutenant governor, attorney general, all of that. And so, that's when it really started for me was in that class. Ms. Gockel pulled me aside and was like, hey, you're special. You can do this. You just told this class Barack Obama is the person to vote for, and now they're all on your side, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I've been fortunate to have educators in my life, my parents who are my bedrock. You talk about the smile on my face and the joy. I have no choice but to be joyful. They came from Nigeria, had my brother and I in London come here and relied on the love of others and a government that used to love its citizens and you unconditionally, and now we've regressed. And so when you see your parents work really hard, twice as hard, my mom is working nights, she's coming back, she's making sure that we're at football practice and whatever it is. My dad's sitting with me, patient as all get out, making sure I can read, learn, get into the system, and be the best version that I can be of myself. You have no choice but to smile. And now my brother is a college graduate, he's married. Hopefully they get them grandkids soon, because I've been lacking in that department. My little sister's about to go to grad school, and they all look at me. I'm like, well, he went to school for finance. My sister's going to go be a doctor and do sports medicine. I'm the one that went to go get the liberal arts degree. But my brother reminds me, he's like, but you also about to be an elected official. So, that's where that joy comes from. And then, just getting civically engaged starts with my dad and teachers like Ms. Koppel.
Oh, I love that. I always love a story about the positive influence of an educator and the relationship of father and son. That's always beautiful to hear those special things, those special moments, those special people, and those special memories, because they shape who you are.
Yeah, that's right.
They shape who you are. So here you are.
Yeah.
Former Harris County Democratic Party chair.
Yeah.
Now you're a candidate for Texas House of Representative, District 135.
Yeah.
You've been a campaign manager. You've been a chief of staff. Yeah. You are a community organizer. You've done so much. Yeah. You are on like this catapult to a special place. And I just don't know if you realize it.
Yeah, for me, this is the tough part of the gig, right? Is because this is the critique that I get from everybody is you don't talk enough about yourself. And I'm like, yeah, because it's not about me.
Okay.
It's about the people. Listen, we have a moral obligation to leave this world a better place than we received it.
Absolutely.
We have to. And someone's got to do it. So whether it's sacrificing your 20s and not getting married and having children, which is a real thing we don't talk enough about, right? Hello. And being married to the game, it's just a calling on my life. I'm a man of faith. That's where I get it from. My parents, we pray. We seek the face of God.
Yes.
And, in doing that, I know that my purpose is just to help. When I was a freshman in high school playing on our basketball team, our coach Sam Mann used to have this thing, someone somewhere. And I've always just taken that and applied it just differently, not just in sports, but now in society. Someone somewhere, someone out there needs our help.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do, go do it. You don't have to be an elected official. You don't have to be, a special someone. Just get up and go help.
Yeah.
Right. Because again, my parents came here on the love of others, the strength of others, of other people helping them.
Yeah.
Unconditionally. So who am I to just sit down there and see somebody struggling and being like, well,
you figure it out.
All my life, you have to be selfless, Yeah. And so, it's always going to be about others. And no matter how we can do it, let's go do it. There's no excuses in my mind because people struggling, they're hurting, and how can I help to just be just a beacon of life, being a beacon of light, just a child of God, seeing someone see that spirit exude. It's important to me. And I try to rub it off on everybody else too.
You do, because when people see your smile, it's almost impossible to see your smile and not feel the joy that's in it.
Yeah, like that's just who I am. It is. And again, just helping others. Like, what are we doing to help somebody? How are we making this world a better place? Are we still putting hate into it? Are we putting love? Are we making sure that there's no more injustice? Our founding fathers got something right in the documents, right? We're always striving to be a more perfect union.
More perfect union.
So, we ain't never going to reach perfection. Fine. But we can do our little part to strive for that more perfect. And that's what I'm just trying to do. Again, being a son of immigrant, being an immigrant myself, being born in London, I understand what it means to need the help. We grew up in lower middle class part of Cyprus. When people think of the suburbs, they just think lily white. There's just these big old houses or whatever. I'm like, nah, come to my hood. You're going to see it's a little different. It's not all of that. And so, you just got to rely on stuff, man. We grew up on WIC. You know, like it ain't, you know, we didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth. My parents were hustling. My dad came to this country making beds in the hospital and it was able to get a master's degree. Right. So like, you know, and that what he will tell you, it's his faith, it's prayers, it's fasting, it's all of these things, but then there's also the help of others.
Yeah.
And so when you see other people doing that for you and your family, you have no choice but to go do it for others. And that's what it's about for me.
I love that. I love that. So speaking of somewhere, someone, somewhere, there's some ones somewhere out in Cyprus that you've recently helped.
Yeah.
And I would call it your entire community.
Yeah.
Not as a candidate,
that's right.
but as someone who is truly vested in the community. And I think that is an essential part of who you are, the fabric of Odus. So school board race.
That was
you
great.
Participated, I would say, as an organizer. I don't know what your title was. But
they just call me a consultant, lead strategist. They were just like,
with this school board race. And they run slates out there. It's a bit different from many other communities. But in that campaign, y'all were successful. You flipped three seats.
That's right.
To get the majority, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And this race received national attention. Vice President Kamala Harris.
That's right.
Called about this race.
Yeah.
You have your governor of Texas, Gregory Abbott, who's like, I'm going to spend millions of dollars there.
Yeah.
You know, now you're having rallies and all these things are happening there. And you had a hand in the success. You had a hand in what has garnered so much attention.
Yeah.
What do you say to that young person who is being told you got to wait your turn? Because you ain't never waited your turn.
No.
I keep telling y'all, people not asking for permission.
That's right. You gotta go take it.
But for that young person who is like, I don't know if I can or how, what do you say to them? How do you show them, look, this is what I was able to do. You know, I've been able to do these things. Tell them the how or the what it is that they're going to need to buckle down into their spirit.
Yeah, the first thing I would tell those folks is that, like, especially young people, because I used to get this question asked all the time. Don't be too big to go put up a chair. Don't be too big to go work the sign-in table. Don't be too big and think that you shouldn't be part of conversations that, quite frankly, going to be exhausting sometimes. You know, it takes work. You got to have a work ethic. You know, I love my mom, man. Like, I'm a mama's boy. And my dad will go, yeah, he's a mama's boy, right? And I have a great relationship with both my parents, but I love my mama's boy. I am a mama's boy. And the one of the many things I've learned from my mom is work. Like, ain't nothing like it. And be prepared to meet that moment. So when you work, you get to study all these people. You know, I hear sometimes people say this all the time is like the reason why you're brilliant is because you're not, right? You're always stealing from everybody and you're always picking people's brain and you're surrounding yourself with smart people. And that's what I've done. I've never walked into a conversation thinking, oh my goodness, I'm too big to learn, right? Just because you understand social media doesn't mean that you understand the real world. Go get real world application. And growing up in this and growing up in politics, I just constantly surrounded myself with really smart people and people that are smarter than me.
Yes.
There's no ego there. Like I surround myself with people that are smarter than me. There's a reason why I'm where I'm at now. It ain't because I just surrounded myself with people who are like, Odus, you're great. Or yes, Odus. Oh no, I got people who will check me. Whether it's my homeboys I've known from elementary school, you know, women in my life now that look at me as a little brother or a nephew or whatever it is, they gonna give me the real. And that's what I need. And so when you're getting into this, particularly in politics or any industry, I would say in life, surround yourself with really smart people, work, and don't do the bare minimum. Don't just say, hey, I'm getting paid X amount of dollars. This is all they ask of me. Cool. I've never been like that. Never been like that. And I've never asked, hey, can you tip me on top of the fact that I did the extra work? No, because be prideful in your work. Like that's one thing, like my little sister is 10 years younger than me. And that's what I'm talking to her constantly about is, I don't got no pride in your work. Like your name is attached to this. People gonna hate. You're gonna have your detractors. You're gonna have your haters, especially if you're gonna be a player in this.
They your top fans.
Yeah. So relish in that. Kobe Bryant said this all the time. It's like, man, listen, the haters is what you want because that means you're doing something. You're being great at it. And so it's that hard work that I'm always thinking about, that I would just tell someone, just work hard. And the other thing I would tell people is ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit in that room just being ignorant, not knowing. You don't know what you don't know. Ask is not a word, it's an acronym. Always seeking knowledge.
Ooh, say
Always
that
seeking
again.
knowledge. Yeah, ask is not a word, it is an acronym. Always seeking knowledge. In every space I'm at, I'm always going to ask. I might be annoying, don't bother me, because I know for a fact somebody else in that room thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else. And they want the information, they want the answer to it. And when you're constantly feeding yourself knowledge, it's great. There's nothing like it. And so, I've just always asked questions no matter what, and just worked at it. I was never afraid to connect with anybody, network with anybody. And listen, I would sit on the phone with some people who, let's say they're long-winded and they just want somebody to vent to, right? But I would do that because I just knew that you just never know what somebody's going through. You just never know what they're trying to do, where they're trying to go. So sometimes they just want somebody to listen to them.
Someone safe.
Yeah. And just being patient, And that's another key word, is patience. We live in a world where everything is microwave. You want fast food, you can go on YouTube. I was talking to somebody about this, like Vine was a thing. Like, and it's crazy because
do it for the Vine.
Yeah, and you can't tell people now that are younger us about the Vine, because they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, Vine literally was like not even 10 years ago,
right?
But that instant, like 6-second clip, okay, garners our attention. But being patient in this, God's gonna do it for you if you just wait, talk to Him, have that relationship with Him. No matter what you do, even if you don't pray, meditate, get your thoughts together, be patient. It's not going to come all in one. It can't. It won't. There's no way. You can't build a relationship with 500,000 people in Cyprus in one day.
Right.
That's got to be over a period of time. The reason why we were successful in that school board race is because it was coalition building. Mm-hmm. I'm a big believer in that. So my work hard, my asking questions, being patient led into this moment of, okay, now I can talk to Republicans, Democrats, independents. We built this coalition together. It went from a 6-1 right-wing extreme majority to now a 4-3 pro-public education majority. And guess what they just did? Elections are beautiful because they have consequences too, good and bad. And for us, it's good. They put back 13 chapters in those textbooks that the 6-1 majority took away. So, it gives me joy. And I think of all those times that we are really working hard and I was learning lessons, and not being afraid to fail. I'm very vulnerable about my time being party chair. There was things that worked out, and then there were some things that didn't work out. Mm-hmm. I don't run from that. I was 28 years old. I was the youngest elected. I was the first Black elected. You gonna do some things that's gonna work. You gonna do some things that's not gonna work. You can't run from it. You take it, you learn from it, and now you're doing the other things. And now some would say that we're on a little bit of a heater. With the school board, my boy Christian Menifee, he's like a brother to me, is congressman of Congressional District 18.
My congressman. Keep that going. We are in Congressional District 18 right now. I have representation.
Going. Yeah, so it's been great. So all of this has just led into a culmination of now, being a facilitator. I don't look at myself as like a ball hog. I want to pass the ball around. I want to distribute. I also don't hoard information.
You don't.
Can't do it. Won't do it. Refuse to do it because we need help, especially in the state of Texas. We've been losing for 30 plus years. So what I look like just hoarding all the information, saying, hey, I want to win. I'm being competitive. And then all of a sudden you out there just looking dumb in the face. No, we ain't doing that. We got to, distribute the wealth. So I say all of that to say that all of that I've learned is culminated into this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Talking to you is dangerous because you like my Dr. Phil, Dr. July. I'm going to just start spilling everything. Oh, yeah.
Because I want the people, the whole purpose of this series, right? This series started last year.
Yeah.
Right? Was so that people can really hear from candidates, not on the surface of campaigns, but because this is the person who's going to show up. Yeah. Your core is going to show up. So I want people to see these candidates, y'all, and who y'all, so they can tell the difference. The ones who get on here and they just conversing and feeling good, and the ones who are here, no matter what the question is, they're tying it to politics. And it's like, because people see through that. So, but let's talk about politics and policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you spent the last, I don't know how long, in Austin, working as a chief of staff, working as a staffer.
No.
Now you're running for 135.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 goals for your first term in Austin, which would begin next January.
Right, that's right.
Because y'all serve. The legislature meets once every other year, then odd years for 140 days.
Yeah.
What do you plan as your action? What 3 things are priorities for you going in?
Yeah, I think, it's one of the big things I always talk about is that I'm going to stand up to anyone, work with anyone, as long as we're doing right by us. And that's what's really big for me. Let's assume that we are not in the majority, because we're not in the majority now. It's going to take some seats to get there. And I'm not under the illusion that
16 seats to flip.
Yeah. And I want to touch on this just briefly. Listen, if anybody's telling you we're going to flip 16 seats in 2026, they're lying to you.
They are.
That we have to start expectation setting here in the state of Texas. We got some work to do, and I'm not saying we ain't gonna flip the legislature at some point, but we've got a level set. There's about 6 or 7 seats that we can go get. So we're working hard at that. The number one thing that I want to do is build coalition up there, right? Get our Texas Legislative Black Caucus right, because I'm Black first. Never gonna forget that. And then making sure that we get our House District Caucus in order as well, too, as much as you can do as a freshman up there, right? I'm not under the illusion I'm coming in there to be Captain Kirk. You got to pay your dues. You're going to be a freshman. So building coalitions. Number 2, get our mind right of that we are not the minority party. We are the opposition party. Listen, we're going to have to work with Republicans. Even when we were in the majority or the minority, it wouldn't matter. There's certain bills you need 100 votes on, so you're going to need the Republicans regardless, right? So again, coalition building, but being the opposition party and telling those folks, hey, listen, it's going to be a long day in here. It's going to be a long day. And 3rd is that let's start passing bills that make sense for the people that's working, right? Like, and we get up there and we try to get really cute with what we do with our bills. Listen, we got to fully fund our public education system. We've got to pass Medicaid expansion. The state has the highest underinsured rate in the country. We've got to turn our minimum wage into a livable wage. And we need help to do that. You ain't never going to see me on here say, hey, I'm going to be able to do this, because you can't. Lauren Ashley Simmons says this all the time. Rep Simmons, who had a fantastic freshman session, she always tells everybody, listen, you going up there, it's a group project. So don't try to come up here and thinking you taking a solo test. You are not. It is a group project with some people you don't like. So you're going to have to, figure out and navigate that building. And so, and then for bonuses, constituent services is really important. That is part of your legislative package.
That's your undergird.
That's right. That's right. You can't do right by the people if you aren't doing right by the people. So, those are the things that I'm consistently focusing on. But it's really important for someone like me who is really competitive, super competitive. I used to get in fights when I was little. My brother will tell you, I used to think people used to rig the games if I lost. So, just making sure that we have the right mindset that we are the opposition party. You take care of the business outside the building, it's going to dictate what happens inside the building. That's so we have to flip seats and whatnot. But making sure, again, I'm going to beat this dead horse, that we are the opposition party. We're not the minority party. We are the opposition party. Every day is a battle. Hey, you might win, but we're going to make it tough. We're going to be a tough out. We are going to be a tough out. And I'm hoping that our freshman class, along with myself, some of the sophomores that are going to be there, even some of the junior members coming from our Democratic caucus, we understand that we're the thermostat, not the thermometer. And so that's the mindset and the framework that we're heading into the 90th legislative session with.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So we talked about grandkids earlier. So I'm paying attention. Are we dating?
We be out there,
We be outside.
We outside,
See how I switch. I totally
listen, and I wasn't expecting it either. We better not clip this where my parents can see this. No, we are dating.
Okay.
We're always out there seeing. It's tough, right? People understanding what you're trying to do, I mean it, married to the game. Like, it's important that my partner understands that, like, when we're doing this together to go help people. There's gonna be some tough days now. There's gonna be some holidays where it's gonna be looking a little different. I tell people, politics is the only profession. I mean, there's some other professions too. There's some others, but politics is really like the only profession where you look at the calendar, you look at the holidays, and you like, this is a working day. You don't get days off.
We'll talk about that.
and so you're just like, what? But no, we are dating, and I think one of our ins and outs or whatever we put out there was finding Mrs. Evbagharu or whatever it is. And so, we're always constantly seeking that. But I will tell you,
he is blushing.
Yeah, because this is because my brother
got him.
Yeah, because my brother just got married. And so the pressure was off me for a little bit. The spotlight wasn't on me for a little bit because we were just gearing up for the wedding. And now it's over. It's kind of like, so Otis, what we doing? And I'm like, okay, let me get through the election.
Like,
Let
me throw this in here.
I always get something. There's always an excuse that I could always use. But no, we're out there. We're dating. And I'm always constantly seeking the face of God when it comes to that. Because finding a life partner, that's the whole thing.
I asked that question because being in the political space, a lot of people don't understand why you so crazy about this world. A lot of people don't look at it through the lens that we're blessed to look at politics. And I talk to friends in this space, and it's hard if you come into this space not married.
Yeah.
And so I talk to men and women who are single in this space, and it's challenging because of what you just said, the schedule.
Right.
Also because the phone might not, know how to not ring.
Listen,
might ring,
especially
at the most inopportune time.
Especially in some of these hours where Miss Senior Citizen gonna call and like, who is that?
That's Miss Shirley.
Yeah.
Miss Beverly. But so I asked that question because that's a real part.
Yeah.
And don't y'all be harassing these young folks when they start dating and be all in their business. If you see them out, just wave and keep it moving. We're trying to take pictures and all of that. Because it's important. And you need someone who's going to give you that space and who's going to be safe. I always ask candidates, and I mean, you're pretty seasoned in this field, so to speak, but I always ask candidates, do you have your safe person or your safe people?
Yeah.
Because you need someone who's going to listen, who's going to encourage, and who's going to remind you of what you're made of.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, I do. I mean, like I am surrounded.
You are.
I am surrounded by people who they can talk about me, but if anybody tried it, it's going to be on another level. I'm sitting right next to one of them. No, but
I do not play about this.
Listen, so I will tell you, like, it's great being in this journey because obviously I have my family. Our family is super tight knit. We argue, we fight. Listen, they ain't agreeing with everything the Democrats do, so we'll debate it. But I will tell you though, especially like my brother, because my brother really don't play about family. He gonna run up on you. Like I will give you an example. Like let's be vulnerable. When I was running for party chair, there was a precinct chair who had to resign. He was talking about how I was a Lily Nigerian, and that came from the fact that Lily Schechter was the party chair before you, and I worked for her, and he thought like I was just a Lily Nigerian. I was a plant, and I was a Republican plant, and it was just. I mean, it was racist. It was no undertones. It was racist. It was terrible. Yeah. And story, and he had to resign or whatever. And let me tell you something. It was an old guy, and my brother. Oh boy, because I ain't talking about family. He's the one that found it, and came to me is like, so what we doing? He's like, where do you live at? We go like my brother don't play. I got homeboys that are like that too. This is how much they understand politics, but the reason they're really in it is because of me, right? And that's most of us. Most of our people, they work in 2 jobs, doing whatever. They're really just paying attention because of people like us. And so I gave a speech at El Paso for the Democratic Convention because I'm the treasurer of the state party. And so my friends, one of them had I call her my niece, but it's my homeboy's daughter, Mila, and she's in the video. Thank you, Mr. Otis or Uncle Otis, for that I have a dream speech. And then one of my homeboys took my photo and then put it like replace Martin Luther King Jr. So like my boys keep me grounded, right? They keep me grounded. They know where the bodies are buried, and they just love on
somebody
me. Like
take that the wrong way.
Yeah, they are. But we living in a different time where if you want to take it the wrong way, please do. We don't run from that. I'm a real human. Yeah. I grew up with real friends. Like I use this line all the time. I'm not living in a West Wing. I'm not living in Scandal, a House of Cards. This is real life. This is real situation.
Real HTX.
Yeah, my boys gonna know where the bodies are buried, and they also gonna be like, you ain't never gonna find them too. So what's up? Like we think about those things, and so I'm grounded in that. And then I have a nice group of political friends that transcend just my life that, we talk about all of these other things, but then we really cool, like in the political space. We've identified that we want to do this, and we support each other as hard as we humanly possibly can, because politics is a viper's nest. It's shark infested waters. And I tell people, if you really want to come play in this, be prepared. You got to have a tough skin. You got to have things rolling off your back. You're not going to agree with everybody on everything, particularly people who are close with you. That don't mean they hate you. We just don't see eye to eye on that thing. Listen, there's going to be people you vote in the Democratic primary that I'm not voting for in the Democratic primary. Right. Oh my gosh, July, what are we doing? Like, what? July?
We ain't different over it.
Like, what? That's crazy, because we are humans, we different.
But you're not going to tear them down either.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the other thing,
that's too, right? When we're going to have the problem.
And that's when we have the problem.
Andrew White.
Yeah, that, and what I will tell Andrew White is that, one of the things that's really dangerous right now in politics is go do your research. Again, it goes back to ask. Always seeking knowledge. You going on here on social media talking about sources and things like that.
Cite them.
Yeah, I ain't got no.
That's what we do. That's what experts do.
Yeah,
cite our sources.
I ain't got no issue with Andrew White. Like Savant Moore.
You're welcome to come on, though, Andrew, so that we can have a conversation.
You would have a really good conversation.
And you're here in Houston, but so we can have a conversation and have an understanding of why what you said today and double down was so reckless.
Yeah, like, Savant Moore, he's an elected HISD trustee.
Yeah.
Marcos, listen, like, I love Marcos, and he is a union member. If you read the Chronicle endorsement, you understand why some people have certain feelings, but he's still a union organizer. There's experience.
There's value.
Right? There's value in that. Let's not knock people. Yeah, let me say this. Two things can be true at the same time. Do you wish that your candidates were Albert Einstein type expert levels in politics? Yeah, you do. We also want the folks who aren't the Albert Einstein expert levels running for office, because there's a relation that they can have to everyday people that when you're in the political bubble, you might not get. So let's stop doing this whole either or thing. That's my new thing too, July. It's my new thing. I be telling everybody that. Texas's biggest problem in politics really is everything has to be either or. There are some things for sure that are either or. We ain't gonna run from our values. But there's a lot more that's an and than it is either or. And when we start to understand that, we're better for it. And we just don't need to be doing all that. It's the same thing that I'm thinking of our U.S. Senate primary. People gonna be like, you a candidate, you ain't supposed to be talking about this stuff. Nah, that's BS. Yeah. I'm also a voter. I'm also in the Democratic primary, and I understand that we are trying to win. One of the things that I've been challenging folks on is, listen, whether you pick James Tallarico or Jasmine Crockett, part of the reason why it's devolved, the conversation is devolved into now, is let's talk about when it comes to policy and substance, they're not that far from each other. So what do we naturally do? Okay, now we start looking at your hair, we start looking at your gender,
I think we start
race, religion. Yeah,
I think that, because now this got to go longer than 40 minutes.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. I think that this race, and this is why this is a conversation with the candidates.
That's right.
He's not afraid.
No, never
would run from this. But when Congresswoman Crockett first started to let it be known, I'm looking at this, people were making little whispers. But by November, when she was like, I'll make a decision by December 8th, I started picking up on it, because most of my algorithm is in the political scene, right? I got some food stuff in there too, but it's mostly political. And so I started seeing the whispers early. Yeah. But baby, on Monday, December 8th, before she had the rally at 4 p.m., Monday, December 8th, it was so ugly. But the lead up was ugly too. And it's documented in my TikTok, because I started making TikToks letting people know, like, hey, she get in this race. It's a win for everybody down ballot.
That's right.
And the whole time I'm saying this, I am supporting James Tallarico. Right. In fact, I had a conversation with the Congresswoman, and I told her months ahead, like, Tallarico's probably going to get in this race. A lot of people are looking at him. I'm looking at him. I've heard people even be so desperate to say, they'll vote in the Republican primary
Right.
to keep Ken Paxton out of the
Right.
Senate,
Right.
which is real. It's a
Right. No,
sacrifice.
it's real.
But it's real, right? Because we know who Ken Paxton is,
Yeah.
right? But that day, December 8th, when she announced, the vitriol was just so heavy.
Yeah.
And it was all rooted in misogyny and race. And I was like, God damn, y'all ruthless. Like, they ain't try to hide it or nothing. Day one, out the gate.
The internet is a special place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then James Tallarico makes the video saying, hey, you know, this is my colleague. We're not going to do that. You know, let's keep it kosher.
Yeah.
And it's like, that just turned him up even more.
Yeah.
So by mid-January, I'd had enough.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was a Tallarico supporter,
Yeah.
day one. But I also noticed in early November, the day I announced the campaign school, so the day after the election, I noticed how the things that I'd been communicating to the team, and I knew others had been communicating to the team, meaning the Tallarico campaign, weren't being done. But what was happening was Black pictures with Black leaders and Black voices was happening way more than the action was. And that didn't sit well with me. And I whispered it to one friend. And the week he came here to speak to HBAD, he and Colin Aldridge, we had a breakfast that Wednesday, the 19th of November. And it was another picture thing. And the whole conversation in that breakfast and the things that the community was expressing, I have yet to see those actions from James Tallarico. Those are my real lived experiences. And so when you're saying you want the Black vote, you know you can't win without Black voters because we're 24% of the Democratic voting population, like 23-24%. So you can't not win without
and to even keep it more plain, listen, the most Black Americans live in the state of Texas.
So like you're gonna have to do some things, and more than a church visit. It wasn't happening. And so I spoke with the New York Times about this, and the thing that flipped me was the tone of the support. Because if that's your base, then what are you saying in front of your base? What are you saying in front of your base if your base is willing to go that far rogue and be that ugly? And then, you know, we could talk about other stuff. So we've seen the ugly. We've seen the ugly recent. And, you know, and I think that's why Andrew White, if you watch this or hear about this, that's why I wanted to sit down with you, because I don't know that people really understand the impact of their words and their disregard. You're so comfortable in your realm of reality that you don't realize what you're saying is destroying the very thing we all want to protect, and that is this democracy, or what's left of it.
That's right. And you're seeing also the symptoms of a very healthy Democratic primary that we haven't had in a long time. It's like competition is happening, and you're seeing that because, like I said, there's not much that separates James and Jasmine when it comes to policy and substance. So now for us, it goes into race, gender, religion, right? There's a bunch of conversations
questioning her
happening
religion,
that, like,
she's a preacher's kid, not a preacher's grandchild, but a preacher's kid.
Let's take it a step further, right? What it's like, you know, my dad always tells me the most segregated day in a week is Sunday, right? Because you have the white and the Black church, right? And we're looking at religion through those lenses. And so it's been interesting. Like, you know, I'm one of those that I'm really excited because we have a healthy primary. I'm not the most pleased with the discourse that is going on, because at the end of the day, we got to go face the Republicans that have been regressing us for a really long time. But I will say this, though. One of the things that I've been challenging folks on specifically is what it means to get outside voters. And James, no doubt, can go get his crowd. Jasmine can go get her crowd. But I told you this before, I'm Black first. And one of the things that I've been challenging folks on, the conversation that I've been on, is you only think about the outside voter that we need in Texas one way. Everybody knows it. You're only thinking about it one way. What happened in 2008 with Barack Obama? The person that you think that we're supposed to get today didn't look like that in 08. It didn't. So what does that say about Jasmine's viability? And the argument that I would make to folks too is that James is a dangerous candidate to go up against as well too in the primary. So is Jasmine.
So is she.
Because James is willing to say things that, will get you there. Jasmine's willing to go there.
Go.
And I think that some people are going to be excited about that. Some of these people that are in the poll, one of the things that kind of annoys me about polls is you're not talking to some people that can get excited, because what time do they have to sit on the phone for a 20-minute survey? They got 3 kids, 2 jobs, and they trying to make ends meet. They ain't got time to sit for your silly survey. They gonna be like, listen, thank you, bye. They thinking you a bill collector.
Yeah.
And so what I want us as a Democratic Party to do is open up our minds. Don't just think that the only way we're going to win Texas is one way. A lot of people can make the argument that we've tried this before. 30 years in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. So why are we still doing the same thing over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's pros and cons to everybody. We know that, you know that, everybody's supporters know that, but open up your mind. Don't just get on the internet and start being like, oh my gosh. And, the other thing that's happened in politics that we don't talk enough about, particularly it probably started a little bit before, but really in 2015, 2016, the fanatic of how these people follow politicians now is just different.
It's scary.
It's different. This ain't 1984 where you say, oh, I'm just going to vote for Ronald Reagan and then keep it a buck and keep it moving. Mm-hmm. These people now, Donald Trump, it is amazing to me when you go to places. I've never seen a candidate have a flag. That's new to me. I don't know if they had it back in the 80s and whatever, but this is new to me where they're raising the Make America Great Again flag with the American flag. Right. And you go on social medias, it's
against the flag code, by the way.
It is, because American flag is the only
flag. We have
flag.
A flag code.
That's right.
And it's official.
I think Texas is the only state in the union that can actually have their flag at the same level as America, because we were a country at once. And the fanaticism that you see now with the political class with their candidates is just different, right? That's why you had the Bernie bros. That's why you had all these people that were just, they are ride or die for their candidate.
And it's scary.
It's no longer a party allegiance. It used to be, hey, Republican, Democrat. It's not that anymore. It's Tellerica or Jasmine and the hell with everybody else. It's like, well, hold on, we still got to play this team sport now. Like, let's think about that. And so these are the things that I've been thinking about lately. It's just that it's different now. Politicians have fanatics. It's no longer just the political party, it's the individual themselves. And to your point, it's dangerous that where you're seeing an increase in death threats, you're seeing an increase in political violence in America, because there are just so much fanatics for these people. And you see it more with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. I mean, with him, it is people who will ride or die. People literally are voting against their own interests because of Donald Trump. Yeah. Because of him. They won't show up to the vote. Like, he ain't on the ballot, I ain't voting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's something that we got to think about. So there's a lot of things that I'm constantly always thinking about, in the new age of politics, of where we're at. And you're seeing it play out a little bit in our Democratic primary, which is great for us. It is great. Some of the discourse we don't love, but it's great. I love seeing a healthy, competitive, styles make fight, because I'm a competitor. Like, let's go do it. And, if you beat me, I'm man enough to come in the middle, person enough to come in the middle, shake your hand and say, all right, I'm going to see you on the battlefield next time.
See you next time. Mm-hmm. I got a question, or Justin, you don't have any comments on things. Let's see. Okay. I do have a question or a scenario. Okay. What we're hearing a lot of people say, and I'm talking about Dems, they are questioning candidates' legitimacy based on primary activity. Yeah. And each time someone sits in this chair, I can't even remember maybe one or two times where someone has sat in this chair and their memory of voting or their first time voting was not attached to a presidential election.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't think that leadership is being honest. Leaders in the community, voices in the community are being honest about voter education, right? Voter awareness, voter engagement, mobilization, all of those things. People are not going to vote in a primary if they don't know the primary exists.
That's right. That's right.
And that is one of my favorite things about Jasmine Crockett being in this race. Be it for her, you could be for her or against her. Her being in this race literally has people talking about a race that wasn't being talked about. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Ken Paxton.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Paxton being in this Senate race, along with Jasmine Crockett being in this Senate race, literally got people focused on this Senate race, more so Congresswoman Crockett. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to have a lot of people voting in a primary where they have not been voting in primaries.
2008. I'm telling you. Yeah.
And so when you have an elected official who's also a candidate saying their target is not reaching across the aisle as much as it is reaching out to those who have not been reached.
Right. That's right.
I think that is powerful.
That's right. It is.
So if you have, I know this because people call me and ask me about the ballots. I look at the ballots all around the metro area, regardless of county. Liberty, Galveston, Jefferson, Montgomery, Fort Bend. People hit me up and be like, can you look at my ballot? You know, what's this office? People have to be engaged.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to say that the onus is on the political party.
That's right.
The onus is on the political party. So if you have somebody running for office who has not been in the primary, you got to take ownership of that.
Right.
You got to own that you didn't do your job. You didn't do your job so badly, you didn't do your job that someone else is like, you know what? I'm gonna step up and do it for you. You know, we've got to, and this is not Harris County Dems.
Right. This is just
period. You know, you're seeing people, organizers, union organizer, you know, jumping up to run for lieutenant governor. That's huge.
Right.
Because guess what that says? The working class is paying fucking attention.
Well, listen, that's what happened in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
We flipped a state Senate district that was Trump 17, and Taylor Ramett wins by 14 points because the working class is paying attention.
Working class is paying attention.
He's a union president.
Because it's
he's a union president.
And they know how to organize. And when people's pockets are impacted, and when their children are impacted, they can be like, hold up now. Because what I don't play about is them and this.
That's right.
Right. And so I think this election, I know people say it all the time, this is the most important election of a lifetime. I'm not about to say that. But the implications of what's going to begin happening as early as Tuesday morning at 7 a.m.
That's right.
The implications of this primary will impact not just Houston, Harris County,
right?
Not just the state of Texas, not even just the United States. It will impact the global population for the next 60 or more years.
That's right.
60 or more years. And we can look at the civil rights era to see how what we do has impact and implications.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and that's why it is. That's why you hear every time somebody say, this is the most important election of our lifetime, because every election is the most important election of your lifetime, because it shapes the future. It's the world that you want to live in, right? I think Raphael Warnock is the one that says it, right? A vote is a kind of prayer about the world that you want to live in, that you want to see.
Ooh, and so a vote is a prayer.
Yeah, a vote is a prayer. That's Raphael Warnock. That's him. And thank
I
God
hadn't heard that in a minute.
Yeah, thank God for the people in Georgia, right? Getting that right with him and John Ossoff. Yeah, I mean, it's always important to bring in new people and educate. And that's on us. The people who are inside the bubble, it's our obligation to go educate the people that we want them to vote. And more importantly, it's our obligation to do that and educate. It's really our obligation to listen. Too many times we get in this and we want to show everybody what we know because we read this and we get to talk to this person and we watch the news and blah, 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 blah. Ordinary people don't get to do all that. And guess what? They can also teach you about geothermal. They can teach you about oil and gas. They can teach you about wind. They can teach you about Fortune 500 companies, how to make money, right? They're subject matter experts in their own field as well, too, right? So let's not just go attack every voter like they're dumb and they're stupid. They're just not informed. They just don't know because they're being subject matter experts in their own field because they got to go, like you said, make money, affordability, right? And so we've got to listen. That's one of the things that we haven't done a good job of. And we've got to be more forgiving. our party's done a really bad job. See, I'm not a Democrat that's afraid to criticize our own party because we have our own faults. We ain't perfect.
Mhm.
Hell, we used to be part of your clan, and we had to change. So it ain't like we've been perfect the whole time. One of the things that I wish that we do a better job of is be a little bit more forgiving, right? Everybody is not coming into a conversation understanding everything that we know about the Democratic Party or all the different factions of the Democratic Party. We've got to be patient. We've got to be accepting. Now, I ain't saying if Kyle Rittenhouse is coming to the Democratic Party, we should be like, oh, well, forgive Kyle Rittenhouse. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if someone
can come,
but we ain't,
I'm gonna be sad.
When someone misspeaks, that's not our opportunity to go dunk on them and show them that we have a 14-point plan and we're the party of the elite. It's our opportunity to say, hey, brother, let me just prove this out. Hey, man, just realize their pronouns is they and them. I know you're trying really hard, but just be mindful. Try your hardest to, and if you can see the attempt and you can see that earnestly being there, give grace. I don't know what happened. Like Democratic Party used to be of that. And we've gotten to this point where people feel like we're the elites. And I'm like, I'm the furthest thing from elite. I'm not, that's not a thing. And so just giving grace, I think we can be better at and and it just makes us better humans. And so that's what I'm always hoping for the Democratic Party and trying to be an example of that. Not pounding on somebody because they ain't get it right the first or second time. There's conditioning that happens with us. There's a lot of things that psychologically that it's not a norm for us. So we're trying to make it normal. And you give that grace, a lot more people will come around than you think. They're going to be wanting to be more accepting as long as you're just, finding that balance. Again, I ain't saying, you see somebody who wearing a white hood yesterday and then all of a sudden you like, come on over. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are some times when we're in these conversations where people take a misstep or they misspeak or they misdo something. And this is our opportunity to listen to them, engage them in a respectful way, and they'll respond in kind.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this has been great. I just noticed the ticker still had Daryl, even though I had changed it, but then I hit something that has Odus. But I want you to vote for Daryl too. Let me be very clear. Daryl Jordan for Harris County District Clerk. Yeah. But I want to talk about Odus before we leave.
Okay.
Odus, I want to talk to his community out in Cypress.
Yeah.
If you are in District 135 and you go, who represents me? Just Google that. Who represents me? It's a state of Texas site. And you put in your address. It will show you all of your federal and state representatives, people who represent you in various offices, including the State Board of Education. So you'll know what will be on who represents you currently, right? And then you can visit Harris Votes to get your sample ballot. So I want you to be able to see the current. So who represents me, know what your numbers are. Yeah. So like I'm 147, 15, 18. Like I know my numbers for where I live and 53 precinct. But I want you to recognize who's in office because a lot of people don't know who represent them. They don't. People ask me about their ballot and I'm like, well, where you live? And I'm thinking they're going to tell me what district. Yeah, and they be like, Sugar Land. I'm like, but where do you live? Because I know a lot of this stuff on the top of my head. I just need some more specifics. And people don't know. Yeah. People don't know. So I want you all to look that up. And if you find that you're in House District 135, I want you to vote for my little brother, Odus. Not because he's my little brother, but because Odus has the knowledge, the skills, the passion, consideration, and the relationships, because those are important. He understands how to navigate that state house. That state house is a beast. Yeah. I go to visit. He's worked there. So he knows how to navigate. He knows the staffers. Yeah. He knows the custodians.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, custodians will make or break any organization.
They make it go. Right. Our legislative board and the folks that work for that and keep that building the key stakeholders. Yeah, that's right.
And they hear everything because people act like they don't see them and like they don't exist. Yeah. So I want you to vote for Odus because he's going to bring something to that office that will help those communities in 135 and ultimately help communities throughout this state. So if you are in 135, and again, you can go to Who Represents Me, you can look on Harris Votes to look up your ballot. Make sure you vote for him. All right.
I appreciate that, July.
And then you tell, so that's my endorsement, by the way. And you tell them where they can follow you, where they can learn more about, where they can donate to your campaign, because you act like you don't know how to ask folks for money.
Oh no, I'm not shameful at all.
Come on.
They be like, oh, you really be asking.
Yeah.
Before I talk about myself, make sure you go visit, what is it? hccampaignSchool.com.
Oh,
is that what it is? HCLcampaignSchool.com. And I've been practicing all day. HCLcampaignSchool.com. So my sister is in the struggle. She is trying to build the pipeline and the bench here in Houston, all over Texas, and eventually around this country, because we need it, particularly people who look like us. So make sure y'all go visit that, HCLcampaignSchool.com. She is building the bench. She is doing exactly what she is preaching. So I'm just so proud of my sister. Where you can find me at is my first name, Odus, Odus. My middle initial is E, Evbagharu, literally on every site, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, which, you know, Threads is different. I've been on Threads recently. I'm like, oh, this is where the fun at.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, Odus, Odus, E, Evbagharu, Evbagharu spelled Evbagharu. And then you can go to Odus, Odus4Texas.com. You can literally find out all about my issues, about me. You can figure out who's all endorsed this campaign, who's supporting. We came out like gangbusters when I launched on September 30th. It's almost like I kind of knew what I was doing just a little bit. And then also we have a Take Action page, which I'm really proud of, right? Who represents me. You can find it on there. You can see the map of HD 135. You can make a plan to vote on our website as well, too. There's very many things you can do to take action on our website. Again, Odus4Texas.com. We are everywhere and anywhere, and I ain't never afraid to pull up. So reach us out on social media. I'm there. Visit our website. Sign up for our emails. I'm there. One of the things that I'm really proud of is we don't have a primary opponent, but we've been block walking. Listen, we started January 31st. We did Students for Us. We've done Love for Us. We've done Women for Us. Now we're going to do Educators for Us, and then we're going to do Unions for Us, because we have an obligation to educate, like you've been talking about. And so I'm really proud of that. Really, the most thing right now is that we've been out in these streets block walking, and people have been receptive. They're ready for change.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Another thing before we go, early voting starts Tuesday the 17th.
That's right.
Through the 27th of February.
Right.
So this Tuesday through next Friday. And Election Day is March 3rd.
That's right.
Is here.
That's right.
Voting is here.
Voting is here.
I will be doing some block walking this week because I'm running for precinct chair.
Hey.
And you should
backboard of our party.
It should be.
It is. It should be, but it is.
It is.
It is.
And that backbone has had some challenges of late.
Yeah.
But that's all right. We're gonna stretch. And I'm not running to be political. I'm running because if I, as a voter, as engaged as I am and as active as I am in this space, I've attended club meetings through the years, but that's a silo.
Yeah.
It's a silo, and I recognize it quickly. I understood that people needed voter education. And so I've committed to Pretty Petty Politics as a platform. But what I realized is I had not heard from my precinct chair. So when you teach Texas government day after day after day, you're talking about what shapes our government, what's the lowest level, what's the highest level. And that lowest level, you're not seeing that action like you should, it triggers you. And so with the death of the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, I realized that there was a break in conversation. And this might be true for others of you who live in Congressional District 18, or others of you in general who, you know, you vote, but you never hear from your precinct chair. Some of you are like, precinct who? What's that? And you always vote. So it's important that our precinct chairs are upholding their duties and they're engaging the greater community. So I will pledge to be informative, you know, and to let people know what's going on. We've had a hard time in 53. We've lost 2 members of Congress. We've been redistricted. And there are voters still right here, because I talk to people in the community, like in the grocery store, over at Home Depot, at the nail salon, that have no idea what's going on in our community. And so I think it's really important that you also, when you look at your ballot, you may see a precinct chair position at the very bottom. So make sure you look them up, see if they have a page or anything. Mine is on Instagram, of course. Hey, Mo. That's an example of people engaged, right? Yeah. He's always around when we're doing the show. But it's very important that we make ourselves available and put information out. So I'm not running for me. I'm running literally for my community. And so you can find me on Instagram, VOTEJULI. But that's my spiel. And I felt compelled to say it because I'm sitting next to my brother here. But let's get out and vote.
That's right.
Let's get out and vote, encourage others to vote. Don't go vote until you look at that sample ballot and you do some level of research, even if it's emailing us here at prettypettypolitics@gmail.com to ask questions. Tomorrow, we will publish the pink sheets. Publish it as a PDF so you can print it and take it to the polls, because you cannot use these devices at the polling stations. So you'll be able to download that PDF, and those will be our recommendations, but it'll be countywide. So you'll need to use it as a cheat sheet on your sample ballot to, you know, kind of fill in. All right. You got anything else for the people before we go?
No, just get out there. Listen, this movement is not about politics. It's about me and you. It's about people. It's about us.
It's about your grocery prices.
That's right. Every family, every student, every dream deserves a fair shot, an equitable shot. And so we've got to make sure that we're building, you know, the right future right here at home in Texas. And so, again, if you want to know more about me, visit odusfortexas.com. I wouldn't mind if you donated $5, $10, $15, $25 to our campaign. And then as well, go visit hclcampaignschool.com. Get plugged in, be part of this bench that we're building. And donate.
All right, that is our time. We're about 2.5 minutes over, but we thank you. Have a good one. Peace out. Bye.